And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan. It is August 2nd, 2023, and we're going to take a look here at our Alaska weather. First, though, weather.gov. That is the National Weather Service's online presence. It'll bring you to a map of the continental U.S. All you have to do is point and click anywhere on this map, and it'll be able to pull up a forecast for a given location along with any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. On the national map, this Wednesday afternoon, we have excessive heat across areas of south central mainland there, with areas of heavier rainfall possible with thunderstorms that could cause flash flooding, Missouri, southern Illinois. Also an area back up here toward the western high plains, northern Rockies, and parts of northern Wyoming. Heavy rainfall associated with thunderstorms could lead to flash flooding. We have fire weather conditions as such that critical fire weather conditions across a southeastern portion of Oregon, where we have red flag warnings, and then more excessive heat warnings across parts of southern Arizona and California. Here in Alaska, the heat is building across central and eastern areas of the interior. Very warm temperatures will extend this weekend as far north as the Arctic coast from around New Exit eastward through Kaktovik. With these warm temperatures, drying is occurring. Any breezy conditions, any thunderstorms could lead to increasing fire danger. We already have some smoke and haze in the air. And high water levels on the Tanana River will continue through this weekend due to the warm temperatures. We also have a strong frontal system that'll be working its way in off the Bering Sea this weekend, and it will bring rain, wind, and higher surf along areas of the west coast Saturday into Sunday. And one other thing, the noctilucent cloud season is beginning to wind down. We got about another week or so left for possible viewing. And then as we get toward the latter portion of August, the aurora viewing season starts as we finally get enough darkness at night to start to see the aurora when they are active. Looking at the FAA webcams this afternoon, Eagle starting to heat up. Temperature was around 80 degrees early this afternoon, and temperatures at Eagle will be up around 90 over the course of this weekend as the heat builds across the central and eastern interior. Further west along the lower Yukon Delta, Hooper Bay, mostly cloudy, 62 degrees, and you're going to have a stronger front approaching your location late Friday night into Saturday. That's going to bring some gale force southerly winds along with some rain and higher surf along areas of the southwest and west coast as we go through Saturday and Sunday. And for right now, this is the area where we expect the heat to really be building the remainder of this week through the upcoming weekend. 80s are going to become common and widespread between the Alaska Range and Brooks Range, with some lower 90-degree readings possible in the normal hotspots like Yukon, Fort Yukon, Eagle, Northway, Tok. The area in orange is a fire weather watch for Saturday into Sunday for areas of the Alaska Range, Tanana Flats, 40-mile Gold Country. This would include Denali Park, Healy, and over toward Isabel and Mentasta passes. And as I mentioned, Greeley and areas along the Tanana River here at the flats there, where fire danger will be elevated due to the very warm temperatures, low humidities, and some breezier conditions, and also a few isolated thunderstorms that could put down some lightning strikes that could start new fires. To the west, we have a special weather statement here in the light bluish gray for an approaching front that's going to be coming in off the Bering Sea late Friday night and Saturday. That's going to bring some gale force southerly winds along with rain and higher surf from areas of the northern Kuskokwim Bay through Etolan Strait along the lower Yukon Delta, areas surrounding Norton Sound, the outer coastal areas in the west, especially there of Seward Peninsula around Nome, on up to Kivalina and up toward Point Hope. This area here with southerly flow, and it also includes St. Lawrence Island. Expect some higher than usual surf with this particular front. Fire danger for Thursday is looking to be high to very high in portions of the east central interior, even back out toward the lower Yukon Delta. But spruce is one of the better carriers of fire at this time of year, and we find very high fire danger here through the Tanana Valley and into the Yukon Flats, especially the west side of that. And with the warmer temperatures that'll be building right across this region. We only expect the fire danger to be increasing through the course of the weekend, and that's why we have the fire weather watch in effect for this region, because we expect the combination of very warm to hot temperatures with low humidity and breezier conditions and even isolated threat of thunderstorms to enhance the fire danger. Thunderstorm outlook Wednesday shows potential for some isolated to scattered storms along areas of the southeast interior, west arm of the Alaska Range, even up there far eastern portion of the North Slope, and even northern parts of the Panhandle. And then on Thursday, that area is generally along south of the Alaska Range and then west of the Alaska Range, parts of the southwest interior, including along the Kuskokwim and lower Yukon River. I want to share an image that I caught on a recent vacation. I went to visit family back in the Midwest, and when I was flying out of Anchorage, the airline I was on flew over the Panhandle around midnight at 35,000 feet, and I captured this image out of the window of noctilucent clouds. This is the best I've ever seen them. Quite impressive. These clouds form 50 miles above the Earth's surface as the result of trace amounts of water vapor and meteor dust, and very beautiful electric. It's like a whitish electric blue cloud. And here are the normal clouds within the troposphere within the first 10 miles of Earth. These were the clouds that were below the plane there over the northern Panhandle and British Columbia, even some thunderheads there toward the Alaska-Canadian border. So way above these clouds, these thunderstorms might have had tops upwards around 35,000 feet or so. But these clouds are sitting way above at the edge of space, 50 miles above the Earth. So the noctilucent cloud season is coming toward an end. Our best chance of seeing them in Alaska is between late July into early August, because we have to have just the right angle of the sun, and with the decreasing now amount of lingering twilight there into the late night hours, it makes it possible to see these briefly. Now, by the time we get into the third, fourth week of August, it'll be past the noctilucent cloud viewing season, and we'll begin entering the aurora viewing season. Once the northern lights are occurring, we'll have enough darkness finally in the Alaskan skies to start to see them here late in the summer, and certainly as we slide into September. Well, high pressure continues to sit here out over lower Gulf, North Pacific, bringing warm and generally sunny conditions, with the exception of some areas along the Gulf Coast and Panhandle. There have been some marine layers and lower clouds like around Seward, but I checked Homer and Kodiak City, enjoyed a lot of sunshine this morning, early afternoon. We have low pressure just to the north of the western Aleutians with an occluded front now extending and weakening as it works its way inland. That's not the front that's going to get the west coast this weekend. There's going to be another low and another front generated that works its way eastward and impact the southwest and west coast here by the time we get into later Friday night and Saturday. So here is the high this afternoon, just a 1024 high southeast of Kodiak Island. A lot of sunshiny skies here across the southern and interior mainland, making for very warm conditions. We have these thermal troughs that form in the summertime, northwest Canada, the Alaska mainland interior, due to the warmer air. We also have these valleys and such where the troughs tend to form. But west, here's the low pressure out over the central Bering with the occluded front. That system's going to work its way slowly eastward tonight into the day on Thursday. It's bumping into a ridge of high pressure in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, so this front isn't going to make much more eastward progress. Plus, it's going to have a tendency to begin to weaken by the time we get into Thursday afternoon. Thermal troughs continue across areas of the mainland interior, with still the possibility of some isolated showers and thunderstorms popping up along and especially south of the Alaska Range as we go through Thursday afternoon and evening. And then on Friday, that initial front just kind of washes out. But here comes the stronger front in the area of low pressure that's located out over the central Bering. This feature working its way northeastward. This front will push into the southwest and west coast of the mainland as we go through late Friday night and on Saturday, bringing some gale force southerly winds out ahead of it, and that'll result in some higher surf along with some areas of rain for the weekend along the west coast. Panhandle is going to see lows, low mid 50s with some areas of low clouds and fog here and there. Generally 50s for lows south central. Temperatures tomorrow 60s with some lower 70s in the Panhandle. Where you have some sun, temperatures will be well into the 70s to near 80 degrees. Copper River Basin, Gulkana, Glen Allen, back toward toward Talkeetna, Palmer. Very warm, 82 at McGrath, other side of the Alaska Range. Generally 60s along the Gulf Coast near the water, and then lows generally 50s across the region Friday morning. But we expect, again, lower 80s in areas of the Copper River Basin, 70s up through the Susitna Valley to near 80 in some spots, 60s, 70s in the Panhandle. Warm day in store. Saturday, Sunday could see some lower 80s here in the Panhandle, especially in the vicinity of Juneau. Further north, relatively mild conditions, 50s along the Yukon River. Coolest readings along the Arctic coast, Utqiagvik could be in the mid-30s, but above freezing. And then high temperatures starting to see 80s becoming a little more common here through the central eastern interior, which is going to help increase the fire danger as we get into the weekend. Even 71 back out towards Shishmaref. So it's definitely warmer here around Kotzebue Sound, 71 at Kotzebue. So definitely warmer temperatures. And for Friday morning lows, most areas will stay above freezing across the far north and generally in the 50s along the Yukon River, and 80s becoming much more widespread between the Alaska Range and Brooks Range Friday into Saturday and Sunday, with some lower 90s likely showing up in the normal hot spots. Now off to the southwest, we see lows in the 50s to near 60 creeping up the Yukon River, with 70s generally from Bethel northeastward. As you go up the Kuskokwim and Yukon rivers, you're going to find warmer temperatures in the 60s to near 70 degrees, all the way up to 82 around McGrath. Coolest readings this time of year near the water, the Bering and the North Pacific. Highs 50s to near 60 degrees as you extend out along the Alaska Peninsula and the Aleutians. And then Friday morning lows, pretty much the same, 50s in the interior, near 50 degrees along the coastal waters, and then temperatures Friday afternoon, not quite as warm along areas of the southwest coast here, Kuskokwim Bay, lower Yukon Delta. You're going to start to get some cloud cover increasing from that stronger front, plus southerly winds are going to be on the increase late Friday into Saturday as that strong front works its way toward the west coast with wind and rain and some higher surf over the weekend. And here's a check of the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook by the Climate Prediction Center of the National Weather Service, August 8th through the 12th. Look at this. Above to much above normal temperatures here centered on the Yukon Valley in the central interior of the mainland, and above normal temperatures across much of the Panhandle. A little below normal temperatures though as you trail off here through the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians. We are going to start to see moisture coming up from the southwest, and this moisture is going to become more widespread as we get toward mid-month. So around the end of this period, August 12th and beyond toward mid-month, we do expect a series of weather systems to be coming up out of the North Pacific into areas of the Gulf. So this will likely bring wetter than normal conditions along and south of the Alaska Range, especially along the Gulf Coast as we get up toward, start to approach the middle of August. So just keep that in mind for planning purposes, but it certainly enjoy some very warm and sunnier summer weather from what we've had here earlier in the season.